Well, that wasn't very stealthy. It's a good thing MSI sponsored this video. Specifically with their Stealth 16 AI Plus laptop. We're gonna open this thing up. They claim it is one of their thinnest and lightest laptops ever. And we're gonna put that to the test. Oh, they even got it written on the box. Slim, sharp, stylish. It sounds like a tailored like suit commercial, you know? I mean, I haven't seen it yet. It feels pretty thin. Obviously it's not the thinnest laptop I've ever seen, but for a gaming laptop that's got a 5080 in here, it's pretty damn slim, and it's actually not even that heavy. We'll weigh it after because I wanna see what else is in the rest of the box here. As for what's below the flap, you've got your C13 power cord. Oh, this one's a really long 6 feet. It's probably like 6'2", you know? And then the power brick. It is a 240 watt power brick, which, listen, USB-C can technically do 240 watt, so in my opinion, MSI, I don't care that you sponsored this. I think it's a little weird that you didn't make it a USB-C connector. It's your proprietary connector. To be fair, 240 watt on USB-C is like the max it can do, and if you're worried about the quality of cable that you might end up attaching to it, I could see why you would want to, you know, stretch it to a proprietary cable, but I'm still gonna criticize it. As for the rest of the box, that's it. As for the laptop itself, we're gonna go around all the I/O on it, starting with the side over here. As for the left side here, you've got a little battery LED to indicate you're charging or if you're low on battery. You've got your Kensington lock. This is the proprietary power port. You've got a USB 3.2 port on this side and 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports. Both of these can do power delivery 3.0 and display port, which is awesome if you're gonna connect an external display or maybe dock this to an eGPU. On this side here, you've got a little power LED. You've got a full-size Ethernet port, HDMI 2.1, another USB 3.2 Gen 2 port, and a combo headphone audio jack. As for the rest of it, no ports on the back, no ports on the front. That is all of the I/O. And, you know, it definitely likes its fingerprints. It's not the worst material I've seen for fingerprints though, so I'll give them a little bit of a pass on it. It also will depend on how easy it wipes off. Yes, actually. Okay, that's very nice. As for the rest of the design of the exterior, for a gaming laptop, I think it looks pretty like stealth. Oh, that's probably where they get the name from. Because I was gonna say, if you like pulled this out at a business meeting, you know, kind of open that up, I don't think most people would be able to see that this is like a gaming first laptop unless they knew, you know, who MSI actually was. It looks pretty slick. I'd even argue that the deck here kind of has a more professional grade look to it, except for the giant like Intel Core Ultra 9 sticker, Copilot plus PC. Well, I'd peel those off right away anyways. Speaking of Intel, the CPU that is powering this thing is the Ultra 9 386H. That CPU can clock all the way down to 1.6 gigahertz or boost to 4.9 for when you need it for gaming. That 1.6 gigahertz is kind of underrated. It sounds really slow, but that's kind of a good thing for some laptops because it means it can extend the battery life. You're not just wasting it on idly sitting there at a high clock speed. And that's something we've noticed with Panther Lake. It's quite often given us incredible battery life. We'll get into our numbers a little bit later. Some of the other configs that they have is including RAM that goes up to 7,200 mega transfers per second or 64 gigs total, but the board itself actually supports 128. So, you know, if you want to upgrade it in the future, that's pretty cool. As for the SSD, we have a 2 terabyte SSD in here. And lastly, the GPU that's in here is the laptop 5080 with 16 gigs of VRAM. One thing to note about that is, I've talked about this before in many other laptop videos, depending on the actual board power or the TDP of that GPU will often determine your performance. And in this case, this 5080 is on one of the lower ends that we've seen. It's 125 watts. Other laptops can go all the way up to 175. I'm not gonna be super concerned about that if it means our performance in game is kind of appropriate with that delta and difference. Because again, going back to what I mentioned about battery performance, it could actually help us in the long term getting longer game sessions on battery. We're gonna have to obviously test that later though. And this trackpad is huge for the size of laptop. I personally really do like large trackpads, especially if I'm doing a lot of actual like office work or getting things done. But for a gaming laptop, you're more likely going to have an extra mouse or something plugged into the side, which might not be a bad thing for you with this. I did notice that in certain spots of this trackpad, it does kind of bow a little bit more than I would personally like. Now, part of that extra flex could be because they are aiming to make this device super, super light, in turn probably cutting out a little bit of the support for it. I do want to weigh it. They claim it's under 2 kilograms, but we'll see if, depending on the model you have, it might have a little bit of variance here. It's just slightly over. It's like so close. To be clear, around the 2 kilogram mark is still still quite light for a lot of these like big beefy gaming laptops. I hope it doesn't mean that they've compromised on the cooling as well. We'll maybe try that a little bit out later. But I kind of want to power this thing on. I want to see this screen. Got a power button there. It looks like a fingerprint sensor as well for Windows Hello. It's fantastic. These are giant speaker grills too. It's a nice RGB. Some would say it's kind of stealthy. Oh, shut the f. Now that the screen's powered on, it is a 2560 by 1600 resolution. It's a 16-inch screen and it is OLED. As someone who's never daily driven OLED, I've often looked at OLED and been like, I don't get the hype. I will say when this first powered on, whatever default ass background MSI has here, it honestly looks really good. And that's really good as well because they actually beat their nit claim that they have. They claimed True Black 600 and we recorded about 650. And you know what? I like that they were able to overachieve there. As for the refresh rate of the display, 240 hertz, which I'm still ticked off that laptops are coming out now that have like double the refresh rate my main monitor does at home. I need to really step up my game. I wanna see these speakers. Big speaker grill, get me excited. I love big grills, you know what I'm saying? Don't include that. Okay, YouTube. I wanna do Crab Rave, as always. We need a new song. Maybe the audience can comment down below what new song they'd like us to play. Copyright free, obviously. We've done Crab Rave for too long at this point. All right, 100% volume. Let's hear this bad boy. This has a total of 4 speakers, 2 of which are subwoofers, and then 2 of them are more of a stereo setup. But let's see if it translates to a good audio. Wait for the drop. They're not the loudest speakers I've ever heard, but I say that as a compliment. Too many manufacturers make loud devices that end up sounding like hot garbage. These speakers at 100%, I am more than happy with. They sound very good. The only gripe I have, and it's so small, is that the snare sounds like it's got maybe just like 1 or 2 grains of sand on it, which I know is like hyper specific. But I always like to do a second test at 50%, and this is 50% in Windows, I should point out. Immediately my snare issue is gone. And this is still a very comfortable listening experience. I feel like most people would probably sit at home and watch Netflix at that volume and then you'd crank it up to 100% when you want to show someone else something, but great speakers. But the other half of a video watching experience is the actual video. So let's find our ARRI footage. This keyboard's kind of nice to type on. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I was about to watch the ARRI thing, but then I started typing. Make sure I got my max brightness on here. Boop. Yep, nice and bright. The screen looks really good. I got no complaints. I got distracted when I searched up this footage though. I started typing on the keyboard and it felt like a really good experience. So I'm gonna open up Notepad here and I'm just gonna start typing. Elijah is the best in the world. He is such a good writer and deserves a raise. The audience agrees. I like this keyboard. And it just happens to type out something that's so relevant right now. I will say, if I'm like pushing pretty hard, you can see there's actually a little bit of flex here. Probably contributes to why it's so light. They probably got rid of some of the structural parts of it. We're gonna open this thing up later. I wanna take a look at the inside still.
Do you care about like the 1-finger test or whatever?
I don't know, I have so many doubts because so many companies try to do the 1-finger test and then they just all like freaking biff it. You know what? I was wrong. Pretty good, MSI. I'd say the hardest part about this 1-finger test is actually getting my finger in there. Overall the usability is pretty good. Oh, webcam, duh. Oh my gosh, camera. Let camera access your camera. Yes, Windows, thank you. Here's the camera, 1080p, 30 FPS. Probably more than enough for just like basic business calls if you really needed it. I wouldn't expect you to become a live streamer using this kind of camera. It's not that crisp, but it gets the job done. All right, let's hear how the microphone sounds. Here's the camera, 1080p, 30 FPS. Probably more than enough for just... You know what though? You could become a streamer with that microphone. That is a good quality microphone for a laptop. I just think a lot of companies, when they know that they're gonna make a gaming focused device, they make assumptions about the user, right? That user probably has a microphone or probably has a headset with a microphone. So I could see them cutting corners on that in order to put it towards something else, but they didn't. I think this microphone quality is really good. You know, I was just about to say that up until now, I haven't heard the fans on. Which might be like, no duh. Dude, some other laptops, you turn them on and the fans are going. I'm plugged in, I'm in the highest performance mode on this laptop, I am in Cyberpunk, and I'm getting above 120 FPS in my average These fans are still quieter than a lot of other laptops that I've looked at. They're starting to ramp up a tiny bit. We are at medium settings here, no ray tracing or anything like that, but we're running at the native resolution of the 1600 here. And that's also including like no DLSS, nothing else like that, no upscaling, no frame gen. Fans are starting to get there now. The fans are starting to get there. But it took a long time to get there compared to other devices. And again, I'm kind of pushing this thing, right? We're playing a pretty aggressive game right now. As for some of our benchmarks in gaming, like I mentioned earlier, the GPU in here is a 125 watt 5080. So keep that in mind as I go over these numbers, because compared to some other similar 5080 laptops, it doesn't do as well. But those 5080 laptops are often 175 watt. We're getting like 30% less wattage to the GPU, and we're still getting above 60 FPS in our 1% lows on our test suite here. And most of that was in our native resolution. And if you wanted more FPS than that, you could probably go down to 1200p, for example, or utilize some DLSS goodness because you have an NVIDIA GPU. And I think that trade-off is gonna be worth it for a lot of people, right? I think a lot of people would prefer to have longer battery life at a lower TDP than a crazy balls to the wall gaming session for 30 minutes. It really does matter which type of gamer you are. And you know, if maybe you're more of a going to the office with your gaming laptop kind of gamer, I could see this being a little bit more enticing than some of those higher power ones. Time to rip this open. That don't include, God, I need to work on the way I deliver stuff. So I see 5 screws. I mean, they kind of blend in, you know? Some would say it's kind of stealthy. I didn't even get like a remote chuckle off camera for that one. That one was like straight disappointment. Alrighty, there we go, and we're in. Our battery here, 90 watt hour battery, or more technically, I guess it's rated for 88.2, which little smaller than some other gaming laptops. We're starting to see them push like the frickin', what is it, the FAA limit of 100 watts. So some of them are getting up to 99. Might not be a big deal though, because again, under here, that's where our Panther Lake CPU is gonna be. So again, hopefully translating to incredible battery life. On this side here, you've got your Wi-Fi 7 card, which also does Bluetooth 6. And under this little shield here, which, you know what, let's go deeper. I wanna see my WAM. I wanna see the dedicated WAM. There you go, pretty serviceable. You got your SODIMM sticks there. And like I mentioned, our kit is 32 gigs total, which the board supports 128 if you can afford that, which would be mind-boggling. You've got a second SSD slot here with your primary one right here. Going back to that battery, like I mentioned, it's a little smaller than some other gaming laptop batteries, but it still translated to about 8.5 hours of our battery test, and it only took about 2 to 2.5 hours in order to fully charge again. It's kind of expected when it's about 10% smaller. You might get 10% less than others, but at 8.5 hours, pretty good. It's gonna be good for some business stuff like I mentioned earlier, if you're just bringing it on your calls or whatever. And then obviously, when you take it home to game, you can just plug it in and game directly off of the wall power. As for the price of this device, our configuration is about $4,000 US. Saying that, if you're someone who really likes kind of the sleek style, the whole packaging that it has to offer, you can get that down as low as $2,700, obviously swapping out some of the RAM, the SSD, and the GPU involved, right? But it depends on what your priorities are. If you think you want the extra gaming horsepower, you can obviously work up to this. Or, like I just mentioned, kind of going for a more stealth office-y look laptop that can also do some light gaming on the side when your boss isn't looking. It's kind of a compelling offer that way. But I wanna hear from you guys down below. Do you like it when a laptop embraces the kind of stealthy look? Or do you think that they should just go off the rails and embrace their inner gamer? But for me, I need to get stealthy again.